So by now, you've read the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you know what this is about. My advice for incoming sixth graders. Let's just get right into it.
The biggest mistake sixth graders make is to think that they're amazing just because they're in middle school, but it happens a lot.
And the reason for that is because every sixth grader, no matter what, like, without fail, uh, they're so overconfident with themselves. They think they're, like, on top of the world and nothing can touch them. When realistically, they're just, you're being cringy, and you're gonna look back and say, like, why did I do that stuff? Like, really, I was pretty cringy in sixth grade. Everyone I knew was cringy in sixth grade. Uh, but like, so just keep your head down, kind of like wait till you and kind of like see what the like seventh and eighth graders are doing, and like try to fit in with them more, and then I think that'll like prepare you for being a seventh and eighth grader, where when you're just like running around dead, like just saying a bunch of dead memes, like whipping still and dabbing and stuff like that, like it just kind of like builds a bad reputation for yourself that you're gonna regret in a couple years, speaking from experience. But at the same time, you are still just in middle school, and nothing you do is gonna stay with you forever. Once you get to high school, it's like everything restarts. Like, you can go from being the kid who was like totally cringy, socially awkward, to being like, I mean, you can never like completely, or you can actually, to like being like one of the cool kids if that's what you want. So yeah, just kind of like try not to let being in middle school for the first time go to your head, because everyone else that you're going to be going to school with is also in middle school. So being a middle schooler is nothing special, really. Like, to be honest, there's nothing special about middle school. You're gonna, by the time you're in eighth grade, or at least like probably by seventh grade for me at least, you're gonna hate middle school. You're just gonna be like waiting until you get to high school. So don't build a bad reputation. Really, that's like my first tip. And second, I'd say do focus on school a little bit, even though it's not gonna matter for your college or for jobs or anything. I know it's like in the future a lot, and it kind of probably sound like your parents, um, because it's like you don't have to like or like, because it does matter. It does matter, because you do need those good study skills for when it does matter. And if you've never done it, it takes actually, yeah, it takes a long time to get the habits. So the sooner you start, the better. But I'm not saying that you should like kill yourself. Not literally. Well, literally too. You shouldn't do that. But you shouldn't like just like work and work and work and have that be like your whole life and have no social life in middle school, because like you're just like because you're getting introduced to a lot of things for the first time, and it's new experiences, so you're gonna want to experiment, you're gonna want to do like this, try new things out, and that's great. I say don't stress yourself over school too much to where you can't do that, but just start getting good study habits, because you're gonna need it later. Trust me. Unless you're like one of those kids who can sleep in all class, not doing your homework, not study, and just pass a test, every test. Those kids do exist, but there are not even one in every school. So don't try your chance of just being that kid like that. It's not gonna work. Um, my third advice or tip, whatever, is just to like feel free to date in middle school. I know a lot of people saying don't date, too much drama. Yes, there's a lot of drama. Most of it it's pretty stupid. You're not even gonna remember most of the drama. You're not gonna remember most of your relationships, honestly, if you have a lot. But it's fun, to be honest. Like, that's the biggest reason I would suggest doing it. If you want, don't feel pressure to do it. Like, it's totally like an individual thing. But if it is something you want and you are like good with your schoolwork and it's not gonna affect your life, or it's like you won't have time to do other stuff, then yeah, go for it. But just like, don't let it take over your life, because if it does, you're gonna be wrapped up in the drama, and it's gonna be really stressful. Like, you can lose sleep over it. Like, it can distract you from everything. And honestly, in sixth grade, you're not gonna be with that person for very long. Like, if you're with that person for a month, that's a long-term relationship. For early middle school, like, that's impressive. Actually, I haven't heard of a middle school relationship lasting more than a month and a week. But my fourth piece of advice is to feel free, be like involved in your school, like with sports teams and clubs and stuff. I know there's not too many clubs and there's not that many sports. There's only like the main ones, but just like find something you're passionate about, do it, because you're gonna find so many friends through that. Like, it's a great opportunity, and you meet people have similar interests as you. If you don't have too many friends, it's a great way to make friends. If you already have a lot of friends, it's a great way to hang out with your friends that you already have, or make even more friends. And also, like, if you're involved in stuff, like the teachers and stuff they'll like it. And that kind of brings me to my last piece of advice, which is to kind of kiss up to your teachers, but not too much. You don't want to be that kid who like will like willingly jump off a cliff if the teacher would want it. Like, every other kid will hate you for that. Like, if you're goody two shoes, like making everyone else look bad and stuff, like, don't do that, because it's pretty irritating, and no one likes that kid. Like, we're constantly going out of your way, but like, do help the teacher out, like passing out papers and stuff, and so just like small stuff like that. It'll make the teachers like you more, and that's really helpful if you're struggling in the class. If they see you're trying and you're like willing to do stuff, they'll be willing to do stuff for you, and they'll be willing to try to help you. And I noticed that was my last advice, but I have one more. It's kind of like part 2 of that last one. It's, don't be afraid of your teachers. They want you to succeed, even if they have like a bunch of rules that may seem unfair. That may even be unfair, but they still want the best for you. And so just like, feel free to ask them questions if you're struggling. If you want, I'm sure if you're like really close to, like, let's say like you're like a pretty good student, you have it at 89%, something like that. If you talk to them, I'm sure they'll bring it up, if like round it up to the 90, only if you were like engaged in the class and you did try, and like you showed that you do care about your learning and you're not taking their effort for to help you for granted. But yeah, those are like my 6 whatever, I think it was 6 pieces of advice for incoming 6th graders, and really just any middle schooler, to be honest. There's some stuff there, like towards the end mainly, that can help anyone in middle school. So appreciate you for watching my video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment if you want. You don't have to, honestly. Like, I don't really care that much. I mean, I do care, but if you're not going to do it, you're missing out. If you don't subscribe, it's your own fault.
Oh yeah, and P.S. Never, and I mean never, remind the teacher that they either didn't give you the homework or they forgot to collect it. Because someone's either not going to be able to do it tonight or forgot to do it. And why? Why do you want the homework? It just doesn't help anyone. If you miss a day of homework, you're not going to, not be successful in life. It's not going to affect you. Just be glad you're not getting homework. Seriously. Alright, but anyway, bye. See you next time. I just realized I don't have a saying. The outros of my videos. Make sure to close your windows. Because it's hot. Really, really hot. That's the new outro.